Welcome back to Frenchies Bakery. May the 4th be with you. That may sound familiar if you guys were watching my channel last year. I actually made a Star Wars themed video for you all. It's a super easy tutorial on how to make Star Wars cupcakes. I did 2 different themes and they are both really easy and really cute. It impressed the crap out of the people that I work with because I took them into work. So I will leave the link in the description box below if you guys want to go check that out. But this year we are going to be making a Star Wars cake and I think it's going to be super incredible. As usual, I thought of this while I was laying in bed, supposed to be sleeping, but I was just daydreaming about cakes and video ideas. And I thought of this one and I think it's going to be pretty epic. I'm sorry if my eyes are red and my nose is red. My allergies are super bad today. They've been fine all season long, but today they chose to be really bad. So I'm like super itchy and just, it's horrible. I actually already iced my cakes, so I'm going to just put on a little time-lapse video for you guys so you can watch the process of it all and me putting them together, and then we will get into decorating them right afterwards. I'm gonna really hop into this video. So I did a 10-inch, and then the next tier is gonna be 8-inch, and then the next tier is a 6-inch, and the top tier is actually partly rounded. So I actually used a rounded cake pan that I got at Michael's, so you can get it at any craft store, and they'll have it in the cake section. I think that's really all I have to talk about at the beginning. Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to mention really quick before I hop into this, I don't know when I'm going to post this. I don't know if it's going to be on May 4th or the day before, so you guys can make the cakes for your May 4th celebrations. I don't know. We'll see whenever it goes up, but just know that this is to celebrate May 4th and all of the Star Wars lovers out there. Alright, so we are going to get into the time lapse and then we will get to decorating this bad boy. Alright, so once you have your cakes all iced, we are then going to move on to the decorations. So I'm going to start with the bottom tier first, and this is actually going to be a Stormtrooper. I wanted to do white fondant to make it super clean, but if you know me, you know I don't really like fondant because it does not taste that good. So I just made it super clean edges with my scraper. So you just want to hold it completely flat, go very gently all the way around, and then scrape the tops off very lightly, and that'll get you these clean edges. And then you won't have to work with fondant and worry about it. We are going to do it for the top tier, but for the bottom tier it's really big, and it would have been a lot of fondant and really expensive. So just take your time with icing it, and it should be quite easy. So we're actually going to move on to the bottom part of the Stormtrooper, and we're going to make a ring the whole way around. And the way we're going to do that is with some Rice Krispie treats, and then we're actually going to cover the Rice Krispie treats in fondant, but it's not going to be very much fondant, so it'll be very simple. So what you're going to do is just get a bunch of Rice Krispie treats and unwrap them, and then you're just going to form them into a snake-like shape, and I will get back to you guys whenever I'm done with this. So once you have this huge ring of Rice Krispie treats, then you can cover it in white fondant. So we're just gonna wrap it around the Rice Krispie treat and then smooth it out, and we're gonna wrap it around the cake, and then in the front where there's a gap, we're going to make another little Rice Krispie treat and cover it in fondant, and I'll show you guys that process, but I'm just gonna wrap this really quick. All right, so I wrapped the whole Rice Krispie treat around the cake and I wrapped it in fondant. So now we are going to be putting on the front details, which I already did to this side, the white part. So you're just gonna make a half circle and then flatten the bottom. Don't mind my black hands and black fingernails. The middle tier has black icing, so my hands are like dyed black. So we're gonna put this half circle on the other side and just press it against the fondant. And then we're gonna take some black fondant cut out a circle, cut off the bottom part just like with the white. And then we're just gonna stick that on. And we're just gonna stick that on there. And we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. So now that we have this weird tube looking thing going on, we're then going to move on to the middle piece. But now that we have our Rice Krispie treat, we're gonna form this into a half circle. And we're gonna cover this in white fondant as well. And we're just gonna place that right in the middle like so. And then once we do that, we're gonna do another half circle. So we're gonna roll out some black fondant and then place it right on top. All right, so now we're going to move on to the little, I guess, mouth area. So we're gonna roll out some black fondant here, and then we're going to cut out kind of like a roof. So whenever you would draw a house in like 2nd grade, this is the typical roof that you would draw. So we're gonna do a pointed top, and then go diagonally down, and then a pointed top, diagonally down, and then really thin right across. And we're just gonna place that right above our half circle contraption going on down here. All right, and then we're going to get some gray fondant. We're gonna roll this out pretty thin. And we are just going to do some little rectangular pieces going straight down. Now before we totally move away from this section, we're going to add up some finishing touches. And there are actually 4 little slits of black here, so we're gonna just add that with some fondant. So I just rolled out one big like snake and then I just cut it. So we're just gonna place them on. All right, so we have the bottom portion done, and now we're going to move up to the eyes and the little like cheek vents and stuff like that. All right, so now we're going to move on to the eyes. I highly recommend looking at a picture of him for this part because you definitely want to trace it when looking at a picture, because I tried to do it without a picture and I made them too pointy and it just looked ridiculous. So now looking at the right picture, it definitely looks much better. Now for probably the easiest part, the headband, which is gonna go right above the eyes. We're just gonna line the top of the cake with just a black strip of fondant. All right, so now for the next detail, it's gonna be right below his eye. So it's gonna be like a rectangular shape, but cut off at the end, kind of like with a slanted edge. So I did black and then I overlapped it with the gray. And then like we did down here, we're gonna roll out some black really thin into a little worm and just put it right below the eye. And now for the finishing touch, it's gonna be the little ear things on the side. So you're just gonna cut out a white circle of fondant, and then we're going to put a little rectangular 3D piece on top of that. And then we're just gonna place it on the sides. So I'm gonna line it up here. Place it on. All right, so this is our Stormtrooper, and the next one that we're going to be doing is a galaxy tier. So we'll get started on that one. All right guys, so before we move on to the galaxy tiered cake, we are going to work on our lightsabers. So I'm actually going to be using glow sticks so they actually glow. If you can't get a hold of glow sticks, then you can just make it out of fondant. You could use a toothpick and then wrap the fondant around it and whatever color you'd like. It could be the red or the blue or purple or whatever. So I'm going to be making the handle part, and you're just going to take some black fondant and roll it, and then we're going to stick the glow stick through it just like this. And I kind of want them to dry just a little bit, so whenever we're ready to go and put this on the cake, then we can just slide this out and put it on the glow stick that we're going to be cracking, because you want to do it like right whenever you're ready to show the cake, because glow sticks actually don't last that long. So I'm going to wait until the end of the video to crack the glow sticks. All right, and then we're going to take some of our gray and we're just going to roll out little bits here, and then we're going to just wrap that around the middle, kind of just towards the middle. And then we're going to make another one and then put it just above it and leave some black in between. We're going to add a big patch of gray because this is where the red button is going to be. And I actually don't have red fondant and I don't want to mix together food coloring with it. So I am going to get just some regular food coloring and a toothpick, and stick the toothpick in the food coloring and then just draw like a little button like I did here, right there. So let me get my red food coloring. So I just stick a toothpick in the top, get some dye on the end, and then just draw just a little red dot. Very easy. So this is our little handles for her lightsabers. All right, now we can move on to the super fun part. All right, guys, I'm a horrible person. Once again, I totally forgot to film this epic part. So I'm gonna explain it really quick. I filmed the crumb coats, but I didn't film this. So I added some black icing to the top of the crumb coat, and then I did some blue and green, and I smudged it with a spatula, just little bits, and then I went over it with my scraper, and it makes this really cool look. So it's like we're in the middle of space. And I also put on some white too to add to the color. So we're going to add the stars now. And I just melted some white chocolate, and I have a little painting brush here. This part is actually very messy, so be prepared. So we're gonna get some chocolate on our paintbrush and then wipe it off on the side so there's not too much, so we don't make an enormous mess. And we are just going to flick the paintbrush and make stars. It's really a cool thing. So I'm gonna zoom in for you guys even closer and show you what I'm doing. So this is a super fun thing to do. You can have your kids do it. A bristle of the brush fell off, but it is super messy, so I do recommend being prepared for that. You will find chocolate like all over your kitchen at places that you did not expect for it to reach. I'm so serious. This is actually all I'm going to do to this tier. I was going to put Star Wars, the actual logo on the front, but I'm going to put the lightsabers crisscrossing in the front here. So this is it, super simple. This is by far the most fun one. I love this one. And we are going to move on to our top tier, and I will let you know what it's going to be as soon as we get to it. All right, so to make things a little bit easier, and since it's only a 6-inch, it's not that big of a deal, we are going to be covering the top tier with fondant. It's definitely pretty difficult to make a sphere cake super smooth, so fondant will be our friend here. So we are going to just drape some white fondant over top, and then just smooth down the sides bit by bit, little by little, and if there's tears or wrinkles or cracks, you can cover that up with the decorations. Decorations are your friend when it comes to that. Then we are going to cut right along the edge and just cut off this excess fondant. So I'm going to tier the cake. I'm actually going to be adding on the decorations when it's all stacked, because these are some decorations that I don't really want to be touching and everything. So I'm going to stack this cake real quick. All right, so we are going to start with the bottom tier and get some milkshake straws. You can actually get these at your local grocery store. So I'm gonna stick one straight down the middle, and you wanna make sure you're going straight down and not at an angle. Pull it up a little bit, snip it straight across, and then push it back down in. And then I'm going to do 4 around it. So we're just going to rip this board off the bottom. Get our hand under there. It's just tape that you hear. Make sure that you pull that piece of tape off. And then we are just going to plop this right in the middle. And then we are going to repeat the same thing with the straws. So we're gonna put one right down the middle. And then the same thing for the top tier. We're just gonna pull off the other cake board, and then we are going to be plopping this right on top. Find the middle and plop it down. And once we have it stacked, now we can start working on the decorations. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is wrap the gray part around the bottom of him. So we're just gonna take a strip of gray fondant, and now I'm gonna draw in some of the designs. So we're gonna just put some lines through it, and then a little bit above halfway, we're gonna draw a square. And then right where that square is at the bottom, we're just gonna drag that down kind of just make some lines. You can look at pictures of him and see what lines he has. I'm kind of just going for it. I don't really know what I'm doing. But just some lines like that. And then we are going to put on the next rope around the top of his head. So we're gonna get some more gray fondant, roll it out. So we're gonna take this and just wrap it around the top. Once I have that on, then we're going to do the eyes. I'm gonna roll out some gray and some black, and we're gonna keep that a little bit thicker. So we're gonna get some cutters out. We're gonna do another one, but we're actually going to cut out the middle part. So just take a size down from your cookie cutter. So it's open like this. And then we're gonna put the black in the middle, just like that. So this is going to be the placement. So the first one is gonna go directly in the middle. And then the second one's gonna go over to the right. And then the small one is going to go right in between the other two. So now we are going to add on some orange finishing touches. So we're just gonna roll out a bunch of little squares and rectangles. Once again, do not mind my hands or my fingernails. They're dyed black from the black icing. So you can just look at a picture of him and then place these kind of wherever you feel like it. Now I'm going to take some medium-sized toothpicks and I'm going to wrap them in some white fondant. And we're gonna stick it right above this eyeball. Stick it right in the cake. And then with the other toothpick, we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna add a gray top to the antenna and a gray bottom. And we're just gonna place that directly in the middle. All right, so for the finishing touch, we are going to add on our lightsabers. Stick it in the cake. Oh my gosh, it's finished. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Okay, these are the best. I'm so into glow sticks. I love glow sticks so much. Okay, so this is the finished product. This is the 2019 May the 4th Be With You cake. I'm super happy with it, and I hope you guys really enjoy it, and I hope you guys can make this. You totally should, and tag me in pictures as always, or you can DM it to me, whatever, it doesn't matter, but I want to see your recreations. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys, see you later.